The phone was gently cradled between one shoulder and her ear, her cheek slightly pressed against the smooth surface as she rummaged through the cluttered desk drawers. Her fingers moved quickly, flipping through pages, folders, and scattered pens. The soft morning light filtered through the window, blinds casting narrow golden stripes across the room. Okay, tell me, where did you keep that file, Jungkook? I can't find it anywhere. On the other end of the call, Jungkook's voice emerged with a mix of calm, urgency, and casual familiarity. Check the second drawer of the bedside table, it should be there. Without missing a beat, she moved across the room to the small wooden table beside the bed. The drawer creaked slightly as she pulled it open. Inside were three neatly stacked folders, two in a sleek black and one in a deep ocean blue. There are three files here, two black, one blue. Yeah, that blue one. Open it and send me a picture of the second page. And can you bring the whole file? The meeting is in 30 minutes. She sighed lightly but smiled to herself, amused by his last minute request. Why not? Anything else? No, no, just that file. Please come quickly. The call ended and Wine wasted no time. She placed the folder gently into her bag and rushed to her closet. In just under 5 minutes, she was dressed in a crisp, elegant outfit, smart enough for an office setting, but comfortable enough to move fast. With her bag slung over her shoulder and keys in hand, she dashed out the door. As she stepped out the bustling street, she muttered under her breath while maneuvering through the morning crowd. Oh God, way too much traffic today. The city was alive with the chaotic rhythm of a weekday morning, honking cars, shouting vendors, and the constant murmurs of hurried footsteps on pavement. The cab she flagged crawled through the congested roads, and by the time she arrived at the towering glass building of Jungkook's company, 25 precious minutes had slipped away. She pushed through the revolving doors and headed for the elevator, her heels clicking sharply against the polished marble floor. Just as she was about to make a dash for the stairs, a voice called out crisply from the reception desk. Excuse me, ma'am, where are you going? Wine turned on her heel to face a smartly dressed woman seated behind the sleek reception counter, her nameplate reading Hazel. The woman's brow furrowed until recognition dawned. Oh, ma'am, it's you. Mr. Jones is in the meeting room at the moment. You are welcome to wait in his office. Okay, thank you. With a polite note, she turned and made her way toward the executive office. The corridor was quiet with thick carpets muffling her steps and soft LED lights lining the hallway. She reached Chungkook's door and paused, her fingers tightening slightly on the file as she exhaled. Now it was time to wait and maybe catch her breath. One stepped into Jungkook's office and paused momentarily, taken aback. The space was pure luxury, refined, minimal, yet undeniably powerful. Floor to ceiling windows parted the room in natural light traveling. Polished mahogany floors and grey walls accented with sleek wood frames. Abstract art hung with intention, and a tall bookshelf lined with leather bound volumes and rare artifacts stretched along the back wall, silent proof of taste and status. His desk, a flawless slab of black marble, sat at the room's center. It was immaculate, save for a closed laptop, a luxury pen, and a crystal lined paperweight. Behind it, a jet black leather chair looked like it had been made to fit him and him alone. To one side, a velvet emerald couch hugged a low brass coffee table, perfectly staged with a tray of imported chocolates, a carafe of water, and a few untouched design magazines. Even the indoor plant in its marble pot looked deliberate, placed like an accent in a curated exhibit. Wine walked quietly to the desk and set the blue file down. Then she moved to the couch and sat, smoothing her skirt, her gaze drifting once more around. Of course, his office would look like a damn luxury suite. She exhaled, crossed her legs, and waited. Wine rose slowly from the couch, her curiosity getting the better of her. The silence of Jungkook's office was comforting, almost hypnotic, and every corner of the room pulled at her attention like a carefully crafted museum. Her steps were soft as she wandered, fingertips grazing the polished edges of his marble desk, then tracing the curve of the luxurious leather chair behind it. She hesitated for a second before lowering herself into the seat. Wow, so comfortable. She giggled quietly. Feels like sitting on authority. She reclined slightly, pulling out her phone. As her fingers scrolled through messages, her eyelids began to grow heavier. The chair was too inviting, the quiet too soothing. Her phone slackened in her hand, her head tilting gently as she dozed off in the soft hum of the room's air conditioning. Suddenly, the sharp click of the door handle jolted her awake. She snapped upright, placing the phone on the desk. As Jungkook stepped inside, his dark eyes locking onto hers. Oh, you came? But her attention was quickly pulled to the woman entering just behind him. Tall, poised, and dressed in a short, body hugging designer dress. The woman looked like she belonged on a magazine cover. Her heels echoed confidently against the marble floor. Wine's gaze narrowed instinctively. Chungo, catching the silent exchange, stepped aside slightly and gestured between them. Wine, this is Jessica, my secretary. Jessica, she's my. Sir, where is the check? The one war 30 billion won. It was right here on the desk before the meeting. Now it's gone. She turned her sharp gaze on Wine, brows raised, voice accusing. I think she took it. What? No, I didn't even. Then who else came into this office? You and I were both in the meeting. Wine turned her eyes to Jungkook, hoping for immediate support. But he was already looking at her closely. Unreadable. Slowly, he walked across the room, past Jessica's pointed stare, and stood in front of Wine. Without a word, he turned and sat in the chair she had just vacated. He looked down and paused. A smirk curled his lips as something on the floor catch his attention. I said, get out. Jessica smirked immediately, stepping forward with blooming across her face. Did you hear that? You are overstayed your welcome, sweetheart. Boss wants his space back. Oh, so quick to celebrate someone else's downfall. Jessica tilted her head in mock pity. It's not personal, I just don't like thieves. Neither do I. Lucky for us, I'm not one. Jessica scoffed, looking to Jungkook for backup. But he was silent, leaning back with a glint in his eyes. His gaze flicked from the carpet to Wine, as if watching something only he understood. Sir, don't let her manipulate the situation. She was alone in this office. Who else could have touched the check? Maybe the person who last handled it should double check herself before accusing others. Excuse me, I'm not careless. Then maybe you are just a liar. Jessica gasped and turned to Jungkook, desperate for authority. Sir, are you really going to let her speak to me like that? Actually, let's not guess. Let's ask him directly, shall we? She turned slowly toward the man behind the desk, her voice now playful but as with challenge. So, my dear husband, who actually were you telling to get out? Jessica's entire body stilled, her breath catch, eyes wide as they jumped between Jungkook and Wine. Jungkook rested his chin on his hand, clearly enjoying the unfolding drama. A long pause stretched in the air like a wire pulled taut. Jessica, I was talking to you. The words hit the room like a dropped glass. Jessica blinked, disbelieving. What? You just accused my wife of stealing a 30 billion won check without proof. That's not bold, it's stupid. But, sir, I didn't know she was your wife. You never. And if she were not, you would still accuse her with that same attitude. I thought that's the problem. You thought too much and checked too little. Jessica's lips trembled slightly. Her confidence evaporated as she turned slowly toward Wine, who was now standing tall, chin slightly lifted. Should I hold the door for you? Jessica clenched her jaw but said nothing. She turned stiffly and walked out, the heels clicking angrily across the floor. The door shut behind her with a sharp snap. A long silence followed. Jungkook leaned forward in his chair, elbows resting on the armrests, his eyes softening as they found Wine again. You didn't have to handle her like that. Oh, I know, but it felt really good. He chuckled under his breath, shaking his head. You were sleeping in my chair, were not you? Maybe your chair is too comfortable. I blame you. Wine walked over to the desk, the soft rustle of paper in her hand breaking the momentary silence. Here's your file, the one you asked for. She extended it toward him, and Jungkook took it with a small note, setting it gently on the desk before looking back up at her. Thanks, but honestly, that picture you sent earlier, it really helped in the meeting. I used that second page exactly the way you framed it. It went better than expected. So, my photography skills saved the day, and yet no credit on the presentation slide. Jungkook chuckled, a warm sound that filled the room like the scent of fresh coffee. I'm sorry, because of me, you had to deal with, well, all of this. The rush, the traffic, the accusations. She waved it off with a dramatic sigh and a teasing glint in her eye. Oh, please, if I didn't come, how else would I have discovered how ridiculously comfortable your chair is? She laughed softly, and the sound made Jungkook smile wider. His eyes dropped to the leather chair behind him, then back to her. Suddenly, he stood up. What happened? He walked around the desk slowly, stopping in front of her. His tone was playful, but his expression was filled with that quiet fondness she would come to recognize. How could I sit in it when my wife clearly loves it so much? No, no, it's fine. You're working. I was just. Before she could finish, his hands gently took hers, and with one easy motion, he pulled her toward the chair. She let out a surprised giggle as he guided her down to the seat. Jungkook, perfect. Now it looks right. She settled into the chair, crossing one leg over the other like a mock CEO, her eyes dancing with amusement. Well, Mr. Joan, let's discuss your work performance. Only if we can discuss a rise in hugs first. She burst into laughter, and the tension that had filled the room earlier faded completely, replaced by a lightness that came only when they were together.